And welcome to the Township of Whitewater Region's regular council meeting for Wednesday, June 3rd. It's 1 p.m. and we're going to call ourselves to order. First item is our national anthem, so please stand and face the flag. Excellent. Next item on the agenda is our land acknowledgement, and I was going to go to Councillor White. Oh, excellent. Councillor White, can you do the land acknowledgement today? Do you have it in your drawer there? Thank you.
As we gather, we would like to acknowledge on behalf of the Township of Whitewater Region and our community that we are meeting on the traditional territory of the Algonquin people. We thank the Algonquin people and express our respect and support for their rich history, and we are extremely grateful for their many and continued displays of friendship. We also thank all the generations of Indigenous people who have taken care of this land for thousands of years.
Thank you. Next item is the adoption of our agenda for today, June 3rd. The recommendation is the Council of Township Whitewater Region approve the June 3rd, 2026 agenda. A mover and a seconder, please. Deputy Mayor, Councillor Olmsted. Anybody have any changes or deletions that they'd like to make to the agenda? I see none. We'll call for a vote. All those in favor? And it's unanimous. We have a set of minutes, two sets of minutes here. One set of minutes here. From May 20th. The recommendation is that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region approve the May 20th, 2026 minutes. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Olmsted, seconded by Councillor Moore. Any errors or omissions? Yes, Councillor White.
In the announcements, there's a few, and I don't have it open in front of me,
Sorry, we'll just get you to turn your mic on.
yes, in the announcements that we made, there were some, she didn't hear it properly, I guess, because I went and spoke to her about the changes to Sarah, because it's Lori Patterson, and it's Summer Boone, and it's the Goulds. So there's just, I think it's just
So 3 name references?
Yes.
And you've already passed that on to Sarah?
Passed it on to our clerk, yeah.
Perfect. Good. I think we can accept that as secretarial changes. Is that correct, clerk?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll just modify it and republish on our website. Thanks.
Good. Thank you for that. Any other feedback, errors, omissions that anyone else picked up? See none. We'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Next item are 2 committees and boards. Sets of minutes. The first one, Muskrat Watershed Council, and I'll turn to Councillor White. Anything you want to add on those minutes that were provided?
Nothing to add at this time.
Perfect. Second one, back to you again. South Ottawa OPP Board, set of minutes from April 8th.
Nothing to add to that either. Nothing to add.
Excellent. And I'll just remind for members of the public that might be watching, we include these not only for council and staff to have a reference point in our agendas, but also for the public to be able to find things that council is tracking in the community. Good. Next item is disclosures. Is there anybody who needs to disclose for any of the items on the agenda today? Good, I see none. So we have a presentation, first presentation at 7. Section 7 of the agenda is proposed council remunerations effective for the next term of council, 2026 to 2030. This is a public meeting that we will commence in order to hear public feedback on the proposed council remuneration. So we'll call the public meeting to order here at 1:05 p.m. And we'll immediately throw the floor over to our treasurer for a brief presentation for the public on proposed council remunerations from 2026 to 2030.
Thank you. So this report is just a summary of the report that was provided at the last council meeting, just to fulfill the public notice portion of it. I will note that I received no notes from the actual public with regards to questions or comments based on the report from the last meeting, nor did I receive anything from council members other than some clarification pieces. So per section 283 of the Municipal Act, it authorizes municipal councils to establish by bylaw the remuneration and expense policies for applicable to council members. It also indicates that once during the term of every council, that has to be reviewed, and the municipality's general practice has been at the end of the term, it is reviewed for the future term of the election, hence why it'll be effective 2026, so it would be effective the first day of new council for the end of 2026, and then go till the end of that council in 2030. At that point in time, it's completely up to the next council as to when in the duration they want to review this again. It could be at the very beginning of the term, or it could be at the very end. This has just been the typical pieces at the end. So prior to this, the one in 2022 to 2026 was done with members of the public as well as a consultant to get to the amounts that were set at that point in time. This year, what has happened is we've gone through a process of comparing ourselves to all of our neighboring municipalities. And if you'll notice on the one chart, we've done a comparison of the median of respondents. So going through most municipalities use mileage at the CRA rate. They're doing cost of living adjustments based on COLA. It varies as to what period they use, but they do use a cost of living similar to staff for the salary changes. Conferences and education, it's still proposed to stay the same. Amounts vary per municipality, but generally there is a per diem type amount set out for each council member to attend conferences and to do education. Miscellaneous expenses, again, that's unchanged from the original piece that was set for the 2022 to 2026 council period. So $1,000 for mayor, $750 for deputy mayor, and $500 for councillor. Then there's allowances, same thing. That would be, say, the exact same as the original, and again, very similar to the respondents. The only changes that are proposed at this point in time to the original bylaw is to specify it as laptops would be what would be the technology for the next term of council, as well as remove cell phones as a whole and change it to the bring your own device system, where is already a policy issued by council for staff. So just to expand that into the eligibility for council. So it would be still the same cell phone. It would just be a per diem amount for the bring your own device. It wouldn't be a township owned device or township contract. Meals and benefits would stay the same as staff, and which is very typical for the respondents. And then salary, as you can see, the amounts were very similar to the median amounts per our respondents. Median as meaning the middle ground, so we're right in that part. And then the only other change that would happen with the going forward is that the actual salaries for council, as they're approved, would become part of Schedule B of the salary grid whenever it's approved every year. That way then just keeping the transparency piece, front page, Schedule A would be staff salaries, Schedule B would be areas like our libraries, our students, and then council as well on there, just so that going forward, people don't need to refer back to the original bylaw that was passed today, and then adding the CPI in all the way through. That'd be done for you, and it would just be clearer that way. So the total, this would take effect beginning of the 2026-2030 term, and the actual attached bylaw is attached to the end of the agenda of today. And that's all I have today.
Excellent. Thank you, Treasurer. So what we'll do first here is we'll just verify with the clerk if there's anyone logged on virtually who'd like to make comment.
There is none.
And did we receive anything in writing?
There's been no written correspondence as noted by the director. Together with that, there's been no request to speak on this agenda item.
Perfect. Good. And I do notice we have a member in the public, so I will offer it. Is there any public comments that would be like to be made orally as part of this public meeting? I'm good. Good. All right. Excellent. And with that, I will just ask council, is there any questions or comments that you'd like to make based on what you presented or in interaction with any member of the community over the past 2 weeks? Good. Excellent. I see none. With that, we will then sorry. Yeah, can I hear the report right away? Sorry.
There's no report, it's a so for clarity, what would happen next is we would close the public meeting and continue in the agenda, so item 8, Mayor's Address, noting that the matter that is before us at the public meeting is to be considered later in the agenda under bylaws. So we've drafted the bylaws as final, since there's no comments, as we're hearing now. So they would just be adopted at that point in time at that agenda item. We could discuss it further at that point in time. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you for that application. So good. So we are going to close the public meeting at 1:12 p.m. Thank you, Treasurer. Good. And next we'll get into the Mayor's Address. It's been a busy 2 weeks since our last meeting of council. I attended 11 meetings and events on behalf of council, and we've had a number of new openings. So just to congratulate again, happy little canoe rides, and I think we had Councillor Moore and Councillor Trim, just Councillor Trim attended on behalf of council, and we had the new Gouldhaven Farm building, the new parlor and everything. Wonderful to see that opening this past weekend. And just yesterday, we did an official opening for the Honest to Goodness thrift store here in Cobden. So great to see investments across our community in different sectors. Another meeting that we were invited to was school board. The Renfrew County District School Board had invited our MPP for a visit. They decided to visit Beachburg Public School and to give the MPP insight into their early learning, kindergarten, grade 1 programs. And they also had on their agenda to discuss access for $11 a day childcare spots attached with the school. I wasn't able to attend that meeting. The mayor was, the deputy mayor was able to attend on our behalf. Did you have any comments you wanted to share with council on that visit?
Actually, I think, Mayor, you pretty much covered everything here. It was really well done and enjoyed it, and it was really enjoyed seeing all those little people again. It was really a good day. So, no, it was well done. It was good.
Perfect. So it's nice to see that our message about advocating for additional childcare in Whitewater is heard loud and clear. The school board is working with us. The MPP is very aware of our continuing need for it. So we'll continue to advocate every opportunity we have. Good. Along with the windstorm this past weekend, we had impacted power outages across the township. I think I was out for 32 hours. But there was other people longer than that. And I know our firefighters were spread very thin, especially on Friday night with the high winds and then the power outages and sparks and down lines. So I just wanted to make sure that we recognize our firefighters for all the work that they did as a result of that storm. June is Seniors Month, a time to thank seniors in our community for everything that they've built and continue to contribute to our communities. They've shaped our communities in countless ways, and this month is a good reminder to support them and stay connected. I also want to highlight that we'll be saying thank you to Julie Bennett this Friday, as it's her last day as part of Whitewater Seniors. She is moving to get closer to her grandbabies and will be replaced by Lindsay, who I haven't had a chance to meet yet, but will the next chance I get. Lindsay's going to be continuing the great work and the support that Whitewater Seniors has offered here in our community. June is also Pride Month, a time to celebrate diversity and to recognize the contributions of our 2S LGBTQI+ individuals throughout and across Whitewater Region. It's an opportunity to reaffirm our commitment to being a welcoming and inclusive community where everyone feels respected and valued. Both of these events, or these recognition, Pride Month and Seniors Month, remind us of the importance of respect, inclusion, and looking out for one another. Good, that ends my mayor's report. Any comments or questions from members of council? Good, I see none. And we'll move on to the next item, which is public comments. Clerk, any public comments, any agenda item today?
There are no public comments that have been received.
Excellent. Moving into reports. 10.1 is the Joint Election Compliance Audit Committee for 2026-2030. The recommendation is that the Council of Township of Whitewater Region enact a bylaw to establish a Joint Election Compliance Audit Committee 2026 to 2030, terms of reference, and appoint its members. A mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor White, seconded by Councillor Trim, and CAO.
Yeah, thanks so much. So what council has before them is the establishment of this committee. This committee is intended to serve over the next term of council, and it aligns with the Municipal Elections Act. So this is a committee that is established to meet the minimum requirements of the Municipal Elections Act, and it must be done prior to October 1st of an election year. The committee is responsible for considering applications when an elector believes that a candidate or registered third party has breached election campaign finance rules. And with respect to that, all election candidates are required to file provincially prescribed financial statements with the clerk detailing their campaign financing activities. So after the election, candidates are required to submit their financials to the clerk for review. And if there's any indication or if there's an elector that believes there's a breach, they would bring that topic up. And then the committee, this Joint Election Compliance Audit Committee, would be sort of brought together to review the indications. So this committee is essentially the same committee that was formed for this term of council, so for the last election. We're doing this in partnership with Laurentian Valley, City of Pembroke, and Town of Renfrew. So the last committee was formed together with the same partnering municipalities. Each municipality, essentially has one representative. However, they are a whole of a committee, not representing each township. But in lieu of providing fairness, if you will, we each have a member on the committee. For us, our resident would be Jim LeBeau, who is sitting on the committee, together with Les Scott, Kent Tubman, and Rick Eustace. So this is the committee that's being formed together with the terms of reference. So glad to answer any questions if there are any. Our partnering municipalities will be bringing a very, very similar report together with the same terms of reference at their councils in the next couple of weeks. Thanks so much.
Good, thank you, CAO. Our mover, Councillor White, any questions or comments?
Just wondering if the bylaw has to be changed.
Explain to me.
Well, it says the Corporation of the Township of Laurentian Valley bylaw.
Oh, absolutely. We'll edit it before execution for sure.
Okay,
Thanks. Yeah.
thank you.
It was templated by our friend at Laurentian Valley. Thanks.
Good, okay. Seconder, Councillor Trim.
Yes, I'm familiar with the first three members of this committee and their backgrounds, and very, very well qualified. I'm just wondering, could somebody tell me about Kent Tubman? I don't know this individual. I'm certain he's qualified too, just for interest's sake.
Yeah, so Kent, I mean, when I worked for the town of Renfrew, Kent was pretty active with the Chamber of Commerce and the business improvement area. So he's a business owner and was at that time located in the downtown heart of the town of Renfrew. So business owner and participates actively with the sort of commercial entities, organizations in that area. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other questions? Councillor Moore?
Just maybe housekeeping. Just wondering, under analysis, Township of Whitewater is not listed in there. Should it be?
To the very first sentence.
No
Yeah,
analysis.
yeah, I'm seeing that. So from the last term, similar joint committee, yeah, I mean, the report's coming from me, so it didn't include Whitewater Region, but noted. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Excellent. I will call for the vote. All those in favor? Thank you. Unanimous. Good. Next is the Ottawa River Power Corporation Shareholders Agreement. This is an amendment. The recommendation is that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region approve the revised amendment to Section 16.0B of the Ottawa River Power Corporation Shareholders Agreement and authorize the Mayor and Clerk to execute the amending agreement. A mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Moore, seconded by Councillor Bell. And back to CAO.
Yeah, thanks so much. So the President report, as noted in the resolution, is proposing an amendment to the shareholders agreement. So the current shareholders agreement with the ORPC sort of embodies 4 municipalities. So that's the city of Pembroke, who's a large shareholder, the former village of Beechburg, which is now the Township of Whitewater Region, the municipality of Mississippi Mills, and the Township of Killaloe, Haggerty, Richards. So the last 3 are smaller shareholders. So the original agreement was established in October 2000, and so that's prior to our amalgamation here in Whitewater Region. So subsequent to that, the Township of Whitewater Region has assumed the rights and obligations under the agreement. So back in May 2024, Council may recall we met in closed following a submission from the ORPC, which proposed some amendments to modernize these provisions, operational, financial, and regulatory changes. So as part of that session, direction was given to the CAO to do some due diligence, which occurred over the next year. And then we've come to terms with President CEO of the ORPC, so David Unraw, the CAO with the City of Pembroke, and myself. We've been engaging with the President CEO, and we've come to terms on the new provisions of the shareholders agreement. So that due diligence involved some review supported by BLG Toronto office. So we've had some legal review, the proposed changes and modifications. So at this point, staff are satisfied that the revised amendment maintains appropriate shareholder oversight while also enabling more effective utility operations. The summary of the amendments is outlined there. So essentially, they're looking to maintain, clarify shareholder oversight. There's some provisions around real property transactions, so that's actual their land holdings. Some updates to their financial thresholds to be modernized with dating back to 2000 to be modernized to 2026, 2027. And then removal of some outdated restrictions. So at this point in time, staff are prepared to move forward with the amendment, subject to council consideration. The next steps ultimately is that if it's supported, we would notify ORPC of Whitewater Region's acceptance of the amendment. The other 3 municipalities would also authorize the amendment, and then we would just draft a new agreement, and we would sign it again, sign it as well. So that's the next steps. If there's any questions, glad to answer them. Thanks.
Thank you. Mover, Councillor Moore, any questions, comments?
Yeah, I noticed while reading the report that sometimes it referred to Beechburg as the town of Beechburg and other things, so I am going to call the office tomorrow and get the paperwork straightened out. There's just a few housekeeping items on it. And one other thing was that this goes back to previous term of council when it come up at a shareholders meeting that when we were researching something, we realized that some of the paperwork went back to 2000. So it was time to make some changes, and then there was some changes in 2014, but in some of these particular changes had never been changed. So this is what brought it to light, and I'm glad that we've got this far, that it's being cleared up before this term of council. So thank you.
Seconder, Councillor Bell, any input, comments? Good. Any other comments or questions? Councillor Trim.
Yes, if I could, I think I understand the second bullet in number 2, real property transactions, which is the introduction of a right of first refusal for the host municipal shareholder. Could you provide an example of that for me, just so that I'm certain I understand it?
Yeah, so I mean, essentially, the Ottawa River Power Corporation are landholders. I mean, they have facilities, they have, land assets. In the case where they are considering divesting or deeming surplus some of those lands, if that is the decision of the ORPC, the first step they would do is if they were looking to sell it, they would reach out to the host municipality to determine whether or not they're interested in acquiring the land. I mean, certainly at fair market value, and then that would be the first step.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I thought I understood it, then that's good. Thank you.
Excellent. Any other comments or questions? Good. I see none. We'll call for the vote. All those in favor? Unanimous. Thank you. Next item is the Environmental Registry of Ontario submission for water and wastewater public corporations. The recommendation is that the Council of the Township of Whitewater Region direct staff to prepare and submit comments to the Environmental Registry of Ontario, including the Township's interest in further exploring the water and wastewater public corporation model or other alternatives. A mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Moore, seconded by Councillor Olmsted. CAO.
Yeah, thanks so much. So this report comes after our last presentation. Our last presentation at the last council meeting came from Mr. Pine from the LAS, the Local Authorities Services in AMO, where our township was part of sort of a business case assessment together with 8 other municipalities to look at municipal service corporations for water and wastewater. So what has transpired since the preparation of, or since the involvement in that, is that the provincial government is taking steps to enact legislation that will further support these sort of public corporations. They enacted some new legislation back in the fall of 2025, and they've since made some amendments to that following some public input, and that among other amendments is this Water and Wastewater Public Corporation Act. Similarly to Municipal Service Corporation, the Municipal Service Corporation is sort of enacted through the Municipal Act. This is its separate act and allows for municipalities to sort of put together these public corporations to represent the water and wastewater components. So this legislation has been enacted very recently, and it enables the creation of municipally owned corporations to deliver water and wastewater services. Now, when they passed this back in last fall, there was a lot of discussion in the news about privatization of water and wastewater, and the changes that were made this spring made it very clear that it cannot be privatized. It has to be publicly owned by municipalities, for clarity. And that was made clear to us at Roma as well when we had a delegation with the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing. So what they're seeking now is the province has some work to do. They got to develop some regulations and other regulatory frameworks. But they're trying to get a feel on how many municipalities may be interested in this type of model. And so I would say to some degree it's kind of at its early stages, and we are tracking this. We've been part of this LAS program. We've had our water and wastewater task force who've recommended to us to look at all other alternative models of delivery of service, whether it's the operations. But this would be another sort of venture we should explore in the view of staff. So what we have before council is a report, not for us to create a public corporation, that's not the intent here. It's just to demonstrate an interest to the province to say, we're here, we want to be filled in on more of the information. We want to help potentially shape the framework of this moving forward. There's a deadline to submit this, which is early to mid-August. And we will be, we have submitted a request for delegation with MMAH on this specific topic. So that's at the AMO conference, which is also in August. The complexity here is that the conference happens after the deadline to submit this. So we'll submit this at the discretion of council, and then we would continue to engage directly as part of a delegation at AMO. So just noting a few other things is that we've been conversing a little bit with our neighbors, City of Pembroke, Town of Petawawa, Laurentian Valley on this topic, together with Bonnechere Valley as well, because Bonnechere Valley and these other neighboring municipalities are part of the LAS program as well. So at this point in time, it is preliminary, but I think there's an opportunity to explore this further, and this would be the next logical step is to, at the provincial level, try to explore this further. So I'll be glad to answer any questions that I'm able to answer. Otherwise, I could seek additional feedback. But at this point in time, we're just looking for direction to review the legislation, what's available now, provide any comments, and then submit our local interest into the pool. Thanks so much.
Thank you for that summary, CAO. I'll go to the mover first, Councillor Moore.
Nice to see this come across our desk, but I'm not sure if the time frame will do us any good if the closing is before AMO. But I'm sure everybody will have the same discussion at AMO, then our people will. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. I think we need to stay on top of this just so we know any new government regs that will be coming down the road, and right at election time. I don't know if this is happening at a good time or not. I like to think it is. So I guess I can only request that council be kept up to date as to how things are going with this, because it's new and we're not sure, none of us know where it's going to go.
I mean, as it pertains to a timeline, I think the provincial government, if they're not done sitting, their next sitting at legislation is like in the fall, I think in October, November. So the likelihood is they're trying to collect a lot of information in order to prepare for that next sitting to draft regulations. So after we submit, the next update will probably be the AMO update, and after that we'll have to wait and hear into the fall. So as it pertains to our municipal election, I mean, there shouldn't be much of an impact because there probably won't be any dealings or any matters being progressed to any great degree until the fall. Thanks.
Follow up? Will we be submitting on behalf of Whitewater, or will we be submitting on behalf of LAS?
It'll be on behalf of the Township of Whitewater region to demonstrate our local interest. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Good. Our seconder, Councillor Olmsted. Any other questions or comments? Councillor Trim?
Yes, I'm definitely going to vote in favor of this, but again, I always worry how much more work are we piling on to staff before holidays are coming up. I'm hoping that a lot of the statistics and basic preparation has already been done, so that it's not going to involve yet more work, a lot more work for staff. I'm hoping you can reassure me of that.
Through the Environmental Registry of Ontario, they ask about 5 or 6 pointed questions, which shouldn't be over encumbersome to answer, at least to help shape our submission. So, I mean, not outside of our current ability to respond. So we should be all right. Thanks.
Yeah, I acknowledge that, Councillor Trim, the impact on staff, but I think this item has been, if not the top priority, one of the top priorities for the council for the past 3.5 or greater, 4 or 5 years. I think it's worthwhile to invest the staff time in this and to continue to monitor it as a very viable alternative for us to examine going forward. So acknowledged, but I think it's acceptable. Good. Any other comments or questions from members of council? Good. Excellent. Good. We'll call for a vote. All those in favor? And it is carried. Thank you. Notices of motion. Is there any notices of motion from any member of council at this time? I see none. Moves us into correspondence. We have no correspondence that requires direction today. We have 3 information items, and we're going to be getting into some detail on a couple of these. First off is the Whitewater Region 25th anniversary update. And am I going to hand this directly over to the director? Yes. So, Director of Community Services, you're up.
Thank you, Mayor. So as you're all aware, we are planning a 25th anniversary event, but we also wanted to share our newest video. Throughout last year, we created a series of videos. One is still in draft, and another one is waiting on music to be confirmed, but the summer one is ready to go, so we wanted to share that in a timely manner. So our videos showcase activities and our events in our region to celebrate us as Whitewater Region. They include our agricultural, recreational offerings, as well as our volunteer-run events, including our fairs and some of the other activities that run in Whitewater Region. The next video to come out will be the fall video, followed by the winter video, and then our legacy video will be somewhere in the middle, with those interviews commencing very shortly. The next item is the Touch a Truck and our Community Connections Fair. The planning for that has been underway and continuing. We're planning 10 till 2 on August 15th with lunch somewhere around noon. No timing for lunch has been confirmed as of yet, but at the lunch hour, we're going to plan for a bit of a presentation and welcome. So you can clear your schedule for that time of day, and then we're going to have some invitations sent out. So more information will follow on the details of the presentations and invitations coming. If you have any suggestions, please send them our way. Rebecca and I and staff are moving forward with plans with the help of our summer students to book this event. In the month of June, we're going to see the invitations to our community organizations roll out. You're going to, if you have, we will share the email with yourselves as well. So please forward that email to any connections you have within the community. Community groups will be invited to open a booth inside the dining hall at Beachburg Fairgrounds, and as attached to our Touch a Truck, when all of our visitors are there, people can visit their booths to find out more about our community volunteer groups while they're there. And we're also hoping to post a job board so that if anybody of those volunteer groups have open volunteer positions, they can advertise those positions on the job board and hopefully get some volunteers into their organizations on that day. In addition to that, we've just introduced the Name That Plow. So our schools have been sent a Google link to be able to submit their suggestions on naming our 8 township plows. And a public link will be going out shortly so that everybody can participate. And I saw a really cool picture with the trucks under a rainbow. Really cool. So you'll see that soon. And then the final thing is the video. So I will say we can take that away. So you'll see that video shared across our social media platforms, maybe not in its entirety. We're going to confirm details on that, but it will be posted on our website as well and shared as the season moves forward. So I would like to say thank you to Rockwell Productions. That was the first of the 3 series, and we'll work with them to continue the remaining going forward.
Excellent, thank you. Oh, hold off just a second in case there's any questions. Any questions or comments from council? Yes, Councillor White?
Any chance we could get those fun names printed on the front of those trucks or somewhere after?
That's a great idea, and I believe that's probably part of the plan, although I haven't really talked to Lane about that yet.
Sure, the GIS system will be updated, so when he's tracking the trucks, they'll all have their names. We'll be able to talk to the superintendent. He'll talk about the trucks by their name. We'll see how that goes. Good suggestion. Councillor Moore.
Just wondering, give us a heads up of what's on for the next video?
So the next video was the fall. So there was, I believe, part of the Taste of the Valley was there, and I believe they even went into the hockey arena at one point. So there might be some things there. I'm trying to remember what else was. ATVs and snowmobiles were part of the winter. Actually, ATVs might be part of the fall. But yes, there's an over grasp of everything. We've asked them to focus on the map that we provided was a large map of many different points. So he tried to fit in as much as he could in the time that he was here. But yeah, so.
Impressive. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments? Good. No, I think that's excellent. Thank you so much for that, and look forward to see it on social media and at different points. Good. Next item, provincial correspondence. This is an ADAG memo. Is there anything, CEO, that we wanted to add on this item?
No, I would just note that this pertains to bringing your own beverages at certain events, but so municipalities have the option to designate community or cultural events as eligible for this permit, but we're also not required to do so. So this pertains to like sporting events. You might see in larger cities, City of Ottawa, where they might have parks where you could bring your own alcohol or designate it. So I know they've designated a few more since the legislation was passed, but no real follow-up from our end. Thanks.
Excellent, thank you. Councillor Moore, question?
I was sort of surprised to see this. I don't think you think of this happening, in Renfrew County per se, but is that something we want to get into as a council? Is my question.
In terms of, do we have a spot in mind that you'd like to apply this new policy?
Yes, and I only asked that question because I know we have a hard enough time by times with our OPP getting all their jobs done. And you want to put that on top of it because, sometimes when you build it, they will come. And unfortunately, we can't have our OPP handling absolutely everything that goes on. And who's going to police it?
Mm-hmm. Quite clearly, it'll be the OPP. Right now, the staff are not recommending any additional sites unless there is either interest in the community or one of the members of council. Right now, as it stands from the staff's recommendation, there are no sites for us to consider at this time. Councillor Trim.
So, Mr. Mayor, am I clear then that if somebody, this is going to be advertised in the province, and if somebody comes forward with a request for an application or whatever, so am I to understand that the answer from this office would be that no, it's not being permitted anywhere in our municipality?
Yeah, so the municipality, I mean, so at the present moment, there's no open designated areas. We haven't adopted any designated areas. If there was a request that came in, they would be processed on a case-by-case basis. At this point in time, the approval authority is council, but you could delegate it to staff. So when we come back and look at our delegation of authority bylaw, for our other liquor licenses, like we've already delegated some of that to our clerk. But at present, it's a case by case if we receive a request from residents. So if, for example, somebody's having a large event and they want to have bring your own beverages, then they could submit a request to us to recognize it as this type of event, and then we would authorize them to do that. So there's a case by case, or we could designate.
Further, Mr. Mayor, that sounds, I'm not disagreeing with it, but it sounds rather subjective, and I'm wondering if it would be prudent for us in the future to think about a policy so that it isn't so subjective, and it's not on the responsibility of staff to do it, to make these decisions. I'm just trying to think, we may never get any applications. I'm just thinking that we are in an area where there are a lot of tourists and summer events. So anyway, I'm just trying to think ahead.
Yeah, so we do have, as a result of our clerk being away, one of the areas that we're exploring is sort of these permits, like liquor permits for significant events. So we have some of these that are happening, like, for example, the Beachburg Fair would be one, likely the Cobden Fair, these significant events. Right now, the authority is delegated to the clerk to sort of approve these. We don't have a policy around it, though, exactly what you're saying. We have a draft. I think our director's prepared a draft for council consideration. Maybe what we do is we include this component in that policy. I don't even know what the policy says yet, but we're working on a policy around municipal significance, insurance requirements, and just naming the township as additional insurer, all these types of stuff, like just, ensuring that we're sort of protected, if you will. But noted, we'll include this, we'll consider this to be added in that same policy. Thanks.
And I would say the only other factor that's being considered is the OPP component to it. How once we've issued this significant activity or significant event, there is a OPP component that needs to be considered. So I think it's good. The position unless council would like to change it, is that we're not going to designate a standing BYOB location like a park. It would be by application only, looked at with respect to the policy, unless there's input or feedback on that. Good, Councillor Olmsted.
Yeah, just quickly reading through the policy, it's really designed for professional, semi-pro, and college sports teams, of which Whitewater Region has none. And it further, if somebody wants to have an event on township property, it's still the normal process. It's not this certificate, so I don't see how this really is going to apply to us whatsoever. Thank you.
Excellent, good. So in terms of the impact on staff, it should be minimal, just to make sure that we've considered it as part of the already in works policy. Good? Council's good with that? I'll take that as affirmative. Okay, the last item is the county correspondence. We have one item for county correspondence, and this is the Medical Officer of Health from the Health Unit provided his monthly report for May. Is there any questions or comments from member of council? Good, I see none. We'll jump right into announcements, and we'll start with the Deputy Mayor. Any announcements?
This time, thank you, Mayor.
Councillor Bell? Good. Councillor White?
Yes, I do. On Sunday, the 14th of June, is the Champlain Flying, they call it
Flying breakfast.
Burger and Bangers now, Burger and Bangers Festival. It was known as the Flying Breakfast, so that's happening on Sunday, June 14th.
Thank you. Councillor Olmsted?
Yeah, just to note, I was by the site of the new paramedic building today. If anybody has a chance, drive by that site to see the progress that they're making. It's quite exciting to see. It looks like it's going to be quite a structure put up, and it's going up pretty quickly. They've lots of landscaping already done, and I think maybe they're getting ready to pour footings and stuff, but it's quite a beehive of activity right now. So if you do get a chance, drive by it. Don't stop in there, but drive by it.
Thank you. Councillor Moore?
Two things. Just wondering if we could get a report from the fire chief over the goings-on of the weekend because of the windstorm. Be nice to know. I know our firefighters were really busy, but it would be nice to know if there's anything in that we should pay attention to. And the other one that I didn't hear from anyone, and I've only heard it once, so maybe somebody can clarify, the tourist booth is opening soon. Could we get a date on that?
Please.
So yes, the tourist booth, we met with the group of volunteers last week, and they've already developed their calendar of schedules. I've reached out to the local high school to help fill some Sundays. We don't have any volunteers for Sundays, so if anybody is interested in volunteering in our tourist booth, we have some open shifts on Sundays. And they're actually opening tomorrow, the 4th of June, sorry.
Great, thank you.
Good. And just the update from the fire chief, email is fine to go out to council. You're fine with that? Good. CAO, that's good.
Yep.
Perfect. Councillor Trim.
Yes, just one. For the cyclists among us, and I'm looking directly at Councillor White, the Tour of the Whitewater annual event is again on. You can do online registration. It's in July. It's on our calendar, and right at the moment, I did look at the calendar, but it's a July 11th or 14th or something.
18th.
Yes. So I'm registered, and so anyway, that's just so you know, to remind people, the money that's raised is part of the WDRA funds, but they designated for certain projects, and they've completed one project in the Parquet in the hamlet of Westmeath, and they hope to have, over time, with the money available, to create resting stops, like little gazebos, in all of our communities for not only cyclists, but anybody who would like to rest in the shade. So the money is going for a very good cause, and hopefully we can all support it. Thank you.
Good. Yeah, back to Councillor White.
Sorry, I forgot one. The Music in the Park is beginning on June 7th in Cobden, and Katie and Just Country are the entertainers this year so far.
Excellent, thank you. Two events I'll throw back out at council. June 6th, this Saturday, Scone Bake Shop is having its 2nd anniversary in their new location. So that's just here on Main Street in Cobden. And June 19th, McLaren Works, I believe, is having an open house. And I think staff are just going to gather the details on that and send something out. Okay, so June 6th, June 19th. Good, and I've asked the CAO if he could provide an update on 2 items, a previous item of, or sorry, 1 item, some provincial correspondence that was provided to me yesterday.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks. I'm glad it's not 2 items because I only prepared for 1. The province of Ontario and the federal government, Canada, have just issued this new program. It's the Development Charges Reduction Program. And it's coming to you now because the deadline to apply, it was announced yesterday, the 1st of June, and the deadline's the 19th. So it gives the staff only a couple weeks to apply. But essentially what it is, and they've been talking about this over the last few months, that at least the federal government, is a program to sort of support the housing, building more houses. But the strategy here is to have municipalities reduce their development charges. So if a municipality reduces their development charges, then they could be eligible for funding from the federal provincial government, so joint funding, in order to enable housing enabling infrastructure, so to build more homes. So if you reduce your development charges, it appears as though, and I haven't read through the eligibility yet, but and the program guidelines, that whatever you reduce, the governments might just fund you that portion for you to generate the same amount of DCs as you would if you were to collected it from the homes. So it's a joint Ontario-Canadian initiative. The purpose is to fund housing enabling infrastructure and reduce upfront building costs by encouraging municipalities to lower their DCs. Municipalities must reduce their development charges by 30 to 50% for a minimum of 3 years. And the municipality has to contribute 10% of the project cost. What's interesting is that our Whitewater region, when we adopted our development charges back in 2021, we already had a reduced amount. For township-wide services, we're only charging 24.5% of our maximum eligible development charges. So the question that we have is, are we immediately eligible for the funds? Because we're already only charging less than 30% of the cost. So we're just informing council that this program exists. We're going to review the program guidelines, the eligibility, and file an application for the grant to generate some revenue to the township if we're eligible and we meet the criteria. So just sort of information to council. We're tracking this and we're going to apply if possible. Good. No changes to our DCs. We continue to apply the same amount of DCs that we have now. Unless there's a need to, we'll come back to council. But for now, we're applying unless there's any questions or objections. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you, CAO. Just one thing to add, and then I'll open it up to the floor, and that is there are a number of questions. This has just been implemented this week. AMO has released a list of the questions they're trying to engage the provincial government on. One of them is linked exactly to what the CAO has already highlighted. What about those municipalities who have already lowered? You know, are they eligible for this compensation? So it's being worked on. We don't have a clear solution, but I think it's worthwhile making the application to stay in the forefront from this. This is a great opportunity. The province is recognizing, especially in the water wastewater realm, the significant capital associated with supporting growth and current capacities. So worthwhile from that perspective. Good, Councillor Trim.
Yes, I know this is going to be a question that everyone else has thought of, but the retroactivity, in case we, because the CAO has said we're business as usual, we're collecting, and then we find out that we are eligible. So when is it retroactive to? That'd be the question that no one can answer, but I thought of it, so.
That's perfect, yeah.
That is, among other questions from AMO, that is one of the questions, retroactivity. Yeah, so it's noted. We'll have to find that out. Thanks.
Good. Any other thoughts, Councillor White?
I'm always nervous when I hear that word, we could get money back. So we could apply for this, we could reduce our DCs and not get the funding from the government then, right?
So our DCs are already reduced. We don't have to, we're not reducing our development charges. They're already less than the threshold they're asking us to reduce it. So when we did our bylaw back in 2021, for township-wide services, we could have charged up to like $12,000. We decided we're going to charge $3,000 sort of to phase it in. We're already down below the 50% reduction. So no changes in reduction. We're just trying to get the difference that we're not collecting. Yeah, thanks.
At this point, we're not making any commitments. We're simply going to be applying, to make sure that we can communicate what we're doing right now, how we're meeting the criteria, and whether or not it's something we could, apply for funds to support further growth. Good so far? Good. Any other questions or comments? Good. We're good with staff taking direction on that. Okay. Good. I got consensus. Excellent. All right. That's it for announcements. Next item is bylaws. On this June 3rd agenda, we have a number of bylaws, 1, 2, 3, 4 listed on the agenda. The recommendation is be it resolved that the bylaws be it resolved that the bylaws listed on the June 3rd 2026 agenda be taken as read and passed. A mover and a second. Deputy Mayor, and Councillor Trim. Good, and I'll just highlight, because the CAO brought it up earlier, the council remuneration bylaw is on there as was mentioned during our public meeting on the council remuneration. Our solid waste management final version is on there from early May, when we asked for it to be posted and any feedback provided. This is council's opportunity to ask any more questions on any of those 4 bylaws. Good, I see none. We'll call for the vote. All those in favor? And it's carried. Thank you. Good, and with that, our next is a closed session. So this is on, with respect to an Ontario Land Tribunal appeal, number EA 002036, Lachlan Lane. The recommendation is that the Council of Township Whitewater Region move into closed session at 2:02 p.m. as permitted in Section 239(2) of the Municipal Act 2001, SO 2001, C25, to discuss litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, in this case, the Ontario Land Tribunal Appeal, EA 002036, Lachlan Lane, with the CAO, acting clerk, and planner EDO remaining in the room. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please? Moved by Councillor Olmsted and seconded by Councillor Trim. And we'll call for the vote. All those in favor? And it is carried. We will go into closed.